Hey everybody, welcome to the show 2B. Today's show we're going to be looking at two things. Red Dwarf Series 11 episode 3 and we're going to be looking at Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. But first, roll titles. And first on today's show we're going to be doing the news. And very sadly there is a lot of bad news. First, to start off, Peter Capaldi has just confirmed that he will be leaving at the end of Series 10, which was a shame because I was looking so forward to seeing if he was good with Chris Chibnall, and I just love his Doctor. It's just, oh Doctor, yes, because he's the first new generation. I don't like these rumours about, let's have a female Doctor. Look, I'm interested in seeing it, but it's just one very problem. What happens if it all blows up in the BBC's face and they either cancel it because of because they're losing money so fast, or the poor actress who gets cast as the Doctor, every time they go to a convention they go, oh, there goes the female Doctor, no one likes her. It's just, but politically correctness, they'll probably do it. I'm happy to see someone else. I'd like to see someone like Tom Hiddleston, Benedict Cumberbatch, someone like that. But we should move on, otherwise this is going to keep on going for the rest of the video. But we should move on because after last week's video, which I dedicated to John Hurt, who passed away last week. He was battling cancer and he didn't make it this time. So it's really sad. I really loved him in Alien and in the War Doctor's Big Finish audio, which I will review probably after I finish the Red Dwarf. But we should move on to even worse news. If you live in Australia, there was only one show that was worth watching if you were a gamer, and that was Good Game. After 10 glorious years, I finally got into it. I thought, yes, I'm going to watch it again. I couldn't wait for 2017, only to find out that it's been cancelled. Yes, a long-running TV show has been cancelled. But it's not all bad news because the children get Good Game SP, which is a kids version of Good Game. Now, the original is the best. They should have cancelled that. There was a lot of other shows that they could have cancelled, but I have a theory because just today, or the day after whenever you're seeing this, they have confirmed from Channel 7 that both Nick Boy and Hex, who were from the original, are now making a rival TV show on Channel 7. Now, I'm just saying, if they just left and then they cancelled the show, fair enough. But they could have kept it running with either Goose or Barjo or Rad, because Rad's taking over where Hex is on Spawn Point. But it's just a massive blow. 2017 to me, so far, hasn't been really that good. And so I should probably wrap it up here. And that's the end of the news. Moving on to our first review. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Now, I haven't played that many horror games, but the original one, the first horror game I ever played, was the first ever horror game I ever played was the Fear 2 Project Origin. And that was creepy. I mean, yeah, it was a first-person shooter, but it was still creepy. But this is a first-person shooter, unlike the originals. Unlike the original Resident Evil games, they've all been third person. This one is different. This is first person, so when you get the spooch, they're right in front of you. And I have to say, this is just an homage to the original. This is just an homage to the original Resident Evil. It just feels like it. Yes, it's based on anything, but we should move on to the story. Where you are a person called Ethan who has an email from his girlfriend saying that she's in trouble. So he goes to New Orleans, which is this creepy mansion place there. Open only to find out that it's infected with a virus. I thought it was magic, but it's not. It's a virus, the T-virus from the other Resident Evil games. I should say that this is set after Resident Evil 6, well, because it's Resident Evil 7, but anyway, this is creepy. Unlike all the other ones where they have action, this creeps up the horror immensely. The times I've had to play this at daylight because I have just been so scared of it. I'm be a scaredy cat, but whatever. But the best part I like about it is the tapes. That when you find the tape, you play a different character, which ties into the puzzles of the one where you need to go to. I like the mechanics where you have to hide from her, all the other family members, and then they have the boss battles. That's really good. And the typewriters have been replaced with these recorders that you press and you can save. You can't. But also they have the containers where you can contain all the stuff, the coins, everything is here. Magnums, the guns. If you're clever enough, you can probably keep all your weaponry. But chainsaw, it's just immense, bedwetting, terrifying. This is game. Oh, I can't believe the number of times that I've died on this game. It is difficult to play if you're the first come like me, but man, this was just getting me in and excited. Even when it found out that halfway through the game, it turned out to be a totally different part of it. You had to even choose who was going to survive from the T-virus. I'm not going to spoil any more here, but I will say that this game is definitely a contender for Game of the Year. So, what do I give Resident Evil? I say Resident Evil is a really good Resident Evil 7 is a really good game to start off the year. It's a nice horror AAA game. So I give it 8 out of 10. Cut. Moving on to episode 3 of Red Dwarf Series 11. This episode is a lot like a time travelling episode. So let's see. It all starts off with Rimmer detecting life forms on one of the floors. He gets into an argument with the elevator saying, look, if you don't tell me where, you don't use the shaft, I'm going to replace you. And then, oh yeah, you're not going to do that, and then moves on. And then pans to the quarters where Lister has had a hangover for 2 days. It's just incredible. The sets, they look different, but they look exactly the same like they did in Series 10. But also, they move on to the next part. They also find a space station which Rimmer says. They also find a space station which Rimmer said that they need to investigate. They investigate only to find out that the space station is overwritten with a mad droid, surgical droid. He captures the cat and Lister to he cuts up Lister to get his kidneys so that he could replace only the thing that he thinks that they're a totally different person. Meanwhile, Crichton and Lister have found a Medibot which they think is the most advanced robot in the world, only to find out that he's a snack dispenser, portable. And then they say, oh well, where was Lister? Oh, they've been captured. They find Lister and the cat, bring them back, only to find in the friendly fire that they shoot at the droid was that his kidneys blew up. So they took them back to Red Dwarf and they woke him up and said, we got some bad news. The cat's fine, but you've got no kidneys. They put an EM chip just to keep him survive for the coming hours. So they said, oh, we need to ask the cat if we can transfer one of his kidneys in a transfer. Only to find out that the cat wouldn't share. There was no way that he was going to get rid of it. And they thought, well, why don't we trick him? And they tricked him. It didn't work either. It was ridiculous. Then they asked the robot, well, what are we going to do now since you're not a famous, powerful Medibot? I'm a snack dispenser. Well, did you hear? And then it found out that the person that was on the spaceship killed himself. So he went back in time to kill himself. So that's what they did. They went back in time to a Lister from the day before to remove his kidney and put it in the future Lister. And then this is where it all gets kicked off. To find out that they actually went back into Red Dwarf a day before he had lost his kidney, to find out that the Rimmer that was on the elevator asking to go in was actually the whole gang was getting to the back to the sleeping quarters with the past Lister and put him back, and then they went back to the stasis boobs with the future Lister back in there, only to find out that I'm going to promote you if you do this for me. Only to find out at the end he didn't, and so Rimmer got a little surprise of the new power of the new lift, where he lifts him up and I got a new hyperspeed elevator. This should be interesting. So what did I think of this episode? it's a nice time travel-y episode. It's back to Red Orchard, as I've said. There was a little like mixture with I didn't like the effects in this one. It was a little thing. I would like them to use the models again, but gotta move with the time. So I give this episode of Red Dwarf 7 out of 10. So, what are we going to be doing next week? Well, we're going to be looking at the next episode of Red Dwarf, but we're also going to be doing Alien Isolation. And that's it for this week. Goodbye. Now I'm just going to go and scare the living pants off myself by playing Resident Evil. Let's just hope I survive.